A Kultured Kast has been created for entertainment and educational purposes. The advice given are opinions of our host and not of medical advice. The podcast is not a substitute for direct, personalized, professional medical care and diagnosis. Exercises and dietary advice mentioned should be discussed with your physician or personal trainer to find out what is best for you.
You want to get fit? How about Ultra Fit? Come grab your Ultra Fit meals at Athletic Culture. You'll love it.
This episode of Kultured Kast is made possible by Paul Sadlin Motors, your local Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac dealer on Bayfield Street in Barrie and online at paulsadlin.com.
Welcome to the next episode of the Kultured Kast, and remember, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel if you enjoy the content. I just want to preface the introduction today with we are three meat eaters and we are having a vegan on our podcast. We are not here to challenge your beliefs or philosophies or diet. It's more or less actually we're kind of inspired and we want to gain some insight. Stephanie Manzinali, is that correct how I pronounce it? AKA that vegan babe. She's a nutrition nerd, a vegan foodie on a mission to spread the most delicious and simple vegan recipes in the world, a food blogger, content creator on Instagram, TikTok, and across the entire internet. A vegan for the past 7 years, correct? Yep. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So why veganism? Let's go right at it.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start like how I turned vegan, because that's kind of like how it all started. So it happened 7 years ago, and I have to preface this by saying before I went vegan, I thought vegans were like psychopaths. Like I didn't understand.
Okay, hold on, let me take a check.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Like I just didn't understand it. I probably like how you guys think now. Like I thought like, why would you restrict yourself from all this delicious food? Like where are you gonna get your protein? Like how are you gonna go out? Like I thought everything that people think nowadays. So when I went vegan, like it happened by chance. Like somebody that I was watching on YouTube said they went vegan, and they were like, if you're interested, go and watch this YouTube video. And this YouTube video kind of covered, it was like an hour long, like a speech, and it just covered all the aspects about veganism, like the environmental, the health, the animal ethics part. And I was just like completely mind blown at what I learned, like all the information. Like it's pretty sickening when you really dive into it. I just binged documentaries back to back to back. Like if you think about it, like if you include marine animals, we kill over 3 trillion animals every single year, which is like absurd. So I just went down the rabbit hole, and that was it. I made the switch instantly. So
it wasn't health generated, it was a philosophical change in your life?
It was really everything. It was really everything. And first of all, I was so angry and upset that like this information had never been showed to me before. Like it's so deceitful. Like what we think we know is like absolutely nothing. Like when you really dive into it, like
Such a small percentage of what information is actually out there to be known.
For sure. Like if I say like, oh, the animal cruelty is horrible, people are like, oh yeah, like I've seen it. I've seen the videos online. Like, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Like when you go into everything, even like the human welfare sides of things, like people that work in these factories and the truck drivers, they're usually from like poorer communities. Mm-hmm. So even the people are getting treated horribly. Like there's just so many layers. Yeah. And just like learning that, like that was it really. Like I just realized that like by buying animal products, like you're voting with your dollar. Like I was voting with my dollar for this industry, like for everything, for your clothes, your food, everything. And like I realized that I didn't want to have a part of that. So that's the best way that you can do your part, is just not buy animal products and just contribute to that animal exploitation. And it's better for the environment, it's better for your health. It's just like...
Yeah, so you kind of touched base on it by saying like you vote with your dollar. Mm-hmm. So do you ethically support, like for clothing and all your other aspects of life, are you vegan in that sense as well? Or is it more so just with diet?
Yeah, I'm 100% vegan for everything. Yeah, so no leather, like other than my car, because it's like, we live in a vegan world at the end of the day. And like being vegan is like choosing not to like buy anything that exploits animals wherever practical and possible. Like we do live in a non-vegan world, so like sometimes it's like almost impossible or it's not practical at all. But yeah, like well, due to the best of my ability, will not buy any clothes, makeup, products, food, obviously, that exploit animals, have animal products, or contribute to animal cruelty in any way.
You're trying to be more
like exploitation of people, right? Because like some countries, use labor issues. So would you avoid those companies as well, or is it more so you're just focusing on like the animal aspect of things?
For me, it's more so the animals. Like, obviously, if I know that, I will try my best not to. But like for the sense of veganism, it's only about like the animals. Right. And some people get like mad about that sometimes. If I
there's certain things that you're never going to be able to work around.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Like,
or be aware of.
For sure. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I don't know these companies. Like, I know what's vegan and what's not vegan. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody has the time to go research every single company.
You just try your best to be a part of the solution rather than the problem.
For sure. And I make mistakes as well. Like, all the time I'll purchase something that has like an animal product in it by accident. It sucks, but you just move forward and do the best you can.
Right.
It's interesting that Jeff brought that up, because I'm just going to read something to educate our viewers and our listeners, because in layman's way, people go vegan. Oh, okay, she just doesn't eat meat. I'm being very crude, and I'm doing that on purpose, in that it's a philosophical thing. It's not just diet. So veganism, as defined, is a philosophy and a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practical, all forms of exploitation of, cruelty to animals for food, clothing, and other purposes. By extension, it promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. In dietary terms, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, by the way, it denotes the practice of dispensing with all products derived wholly or partly from animals. And I'm really glad you brought up the part about clothing, because we as a group tend to think, okay, well, she's just not a meat eater. Well, it goes way deeper than that. And
for sure.
Researching for this episode, I was kind of like blown away by, well, first of all, 84% of people that try vegan fail. So I'll start with that stat. Why are you part of the 16% that succeeded? And did you have any hiccups and like speed bumps on the way there, or were you vegan, that was it, and you've never looked back?
Yeah, like I think for me, what really helped it stuck was like I had my why. Like I knew 100% that I just did not want to contribute to that like everything that, animal exploitation, all that stuff. So I knew like 100% I was gonna figure it out no matter what. Like I didn't care if I was eating crap food for months, or like I knew it was going to be hard, but like I can't even fathom like eating anything from an animal anymore. So like for me, it's like I really had my why, where a lot of people like they'll do it as like a diet or something. Like they don't have that philosophy behind it. Yeah. They want to do it to like lose weight, or like their friend is doing it.
They're doing it for a physical reason.
Yeah. And yours, that seems to be almost a byproduct for you, because when I researched, I'm like, okay, the first sentence is about a philosophy. It's not a diet.
Yeah.
Right. Dietary part of it was such a small portion of what I researched, right?
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Like plant-based would be like the diet, and then vegan is like the philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you think that because of the 16% that succeed, maybe the 16% that are succeeding are morally driven, where the 80 whatever percent are just dietary based?
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Like that wouldn't shock me at all. I think so, because like once you really, it's almost like something just like switches. Like once you see, like you pull back the curtain and see what's there, it's just like something switches.
If someone's craving a burger and they're only doing it for dietary reasons, they're probably going to succumb to that craving. Where if it's a moral thing, then they're like, oh no, like I need to stop this.
Exactly. Yeah. But like a lot of it is as well, like again, we live in a non-vegan world. It's hella hard to be vegan in this society, like especially in some parts even where we live, like some parts of the world, like what you have access to. Like we're very fortunate here where we have all these grocery stores. Every single one of them has plant-based options, where a lot of places, especially like if you live up in the boonies, like don't have that access. There's nowhere to eat out. It's a lot harder. So it's also like your community, like how supportive your family and your friends are. Yeah. Some people will get like bashed. Like I got bashed for sure. Like my boyfriend Matt got bashed so much when he went vegan. So you have to really be like strong-minded as well. So there's so many different factors.
What is the hardest part about maybe being in Canada about being vegan? You're saying there's all these barriers and we live in a non-vegan world. So what's the hardest part here?
I've been vegan for so long that it's like it's not even hard for me anymore.
Okay, so maybe a new vegan, right? You're talking to them and you say, "Hey, just so you know, you're gonna kind of struggle with this, but maybe here's some advice to get past that." Is it going out to eat at restaurants? Is it the shopping for clothes? Like, what do you think someone newly vegan would struggle with the most?
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind was the restaurants, because the restaurants can be difficult, and it's kind of depressing sometimes when you go and like you go to a steakhouse, you're going with like a whole group of friends, everybody's ordering this like delicious looking food, and you get like a salad or something like. And like the problem is some people don't even know what vegan is. Like I worked in restaurants for like 8 to 10 years or something. And like the head chefs wouldn't even know what vegan is. Like they fed me non-vegan food all the time. So like you're asking these people to like make you a vegan meal. Like they're just throwing lettuce on a plate with like some olive oil.
Here's a salad.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But do you not find that that's better now? Like, or it's more adaptive now?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the restaurant in town, Beer
for
Town.
sure.
When it first opened, I could not believe it had an entire vegan menu.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Beer Town.
I didn't even know that. Here in
an,
Barrie?
an entire vegan menu.
Wow.
On like as part of their main menu.
I know where you guys are going tonight.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah. What's that?
Sponsor our
Yeah,
podcast.
sponsor. Yeah, right. Like and subscribe. But I find, because my daughter was vegan, she no longer is. But I found back then we would go out and it was literally you retrieval cube by saying they'd give her a head of lettuce.
Yeah.
And some salt and pepper, and it was like, really, like that's
It's crazy, yeah. And it is changing. Like even like I've been vegan for like 7 years, as you said. Like even within that 7 years, like the amount of progress that's happened is like insane. Like there was like one vegan burger that was like a black bean burger. Like we didn't have Impossible Foods and like all this stuff. But
Because more people are becoming vegan now, right? So you have to adjust.
Well, I got some stats for you on that other little pretty.
Well, now
boy.
it's because it is becoming more prevalent in society. It's now more of like it is a business.
You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose
100%.
customers if you don't have vegan
Yeah.
options.
I looked up a stat, and from 2019 to now, that industry has grown by $5.5 billion.
$1 billion. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Well, look at it. In A&W is leading the way when it comes to fast food chains with their meatless Beyond Meat Burger. I think it is right. Now, would that be considered vegan?
Yeah, that one's vegan. That one's 100% made from plants. Like there are some cell-based meats that are coming where I think they get like a little bit of like a cow or whatever, and they clone that and they make like whatever, a steak or a burger, and it tastes the exact same.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a gray area. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that is mind blowing.
So would you eat like a vegan burger at A&W?
yeah, I would.
Because I worked there.
Yeah.
And like they cook it all on the same grill.
Yeah. I know.
So that's where
I'm personally okay with that, but that's kind of a gray area. Some people are,
like
some people
preference.
aren't.
And that's also a part of that area that it's going to be impossible to avoid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just
You're gonna get food
exactly.
sometimes. You're not gonna know what was cooked on the same.
Yeah,
grill before
that's
that.
right.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
As long as it doesn't like taste like it. Like I went to a brunch place once and they literally cooked like the vegan meat and like bacon, and it literally tastes like bacon fat. Like I think they cooked it in the bacon fat, but like you know that's okay.
That's brutal.
I love bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
Salivating
like a Pavlovian dog over here. I think, to your point, businesses have to change because in North America, 2 to 3% of North American population is vegan, but 12% of millennials are. So you think if you want to start going towards the new generation, you better adapt because that's a lot of buying power. 12% of a population of a generation that wants to be one way, right? Can you let us know? Well, two things. I'm going to steal your thunder a bit. You do not look like your prototypical vegan. Both Jeff and I were talking off camera about how we have friends and family that are vegan, and they're some of the most out of shape people that I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not bashing them because I respect them just as much as I respect you, but you're not your prototypical vegan. Like you're in great shape. I see you work out at the gym. You're a heavy lifter. Is it healthy to be vegan and to lift like you?
100%. Like a plant-based diet can be extremely health promoting. Like some of the longest living populations in the world. I don't know if you've heard of the blue zones, but it's 5 or 6 places in the world, and it's the populations that live to 100
I have heard of this.
the most. And they majority eat a plant-based diet. They
Really?
eat like, I think it's something like 85 to 95% a plant-based diet. So it's extremely health promoting. But like in our society, like there's so much vegan junk food, like French fries are vegan, like Beyond Meat burgers are vegan, like all this Oreos, chips, like potato chips, those are all vegan. So like you can be like an ethical vegan, or you could be like vegan that's like health conscious, and you can like focus more on whole foods. And another aspect of it is getting the high protein foods in, which
I think that's what separates you from the rest is you really focus on protein. I was looking at your page and like you're very protein driven.
For sure.
And I think that's where a lot of vegans miss the mark.
Yeah. But that could just be like because people don't really work out or like focus on getting their protein in.
Yeah.
So where are you getting most of your protein sources from?
So my favorites are tofu, tempeh, seitan, which is like a wheat-based one that's really high in protein. Nutritional yeast, I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a cheesy thing. It's really high in protein. Hemp seeds. There's a little bit in beans, but like even like pasta and like vegetables have protein. So when you really like add it all up, like it's not that hard. Like once you know what's actually in your food.
Yeah. Are there any foods that you're eating that maybe you really don't like the taste of, but you eat it because, you know, it's a good protein source and you're not eating meat?
No, I love everything.
You love it all.
Are you talking about tofu?
No, I'm not talking about tofu necessarily. I'm just saying we had an earlier episode that we were kind of talking about, like myself, for example, right? I'll eat a food that I don't necessarily love, but it has a lot of nutritional value, and I have fitness goals, so I'll eat it and not love it, but I know it's doing good for my body.
Okay, yeah.
So I was wondering if there were certain things like for you that you're like, I don't really love the taste of it, but this is how I'm going to get a good source of my protein.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
But you just love
like,
all of it.
Well, here and there, like very rarely, I'll just eat like tempeh, which is like kind of like tofu. It's like a fermented tofu. I'll eat that like by itself to get protein. And like very rarely, like if I'm in a rush or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Does it affect your lifestyle, being vegan, and how much you lift?
Like, is it harder or easier?
Yeah, I guess so. Because there's, again, you look at the vast majority of people in our gym, and you've been there long enough now. I can't handpick who's vegan and who's carnivore and so on. But to see it when you lift and to the extent that you lift, then I scratch my head and go, okay, holy, it's like, she getting enough? Like, not in a fatherly way, but in an acquisitive way, going, okay, like, what are her macros? Like, how many calories is she consuming in a day?
Yeah. So you're asking.
Well,
like,
do you find it harder to lift to the extent that you lift because you're vegan? And do you have something to compare it to from before you were vegan?
Yeah, so I started weight training after I went vegan, actually like 6 months after I went vegan. So I don't really have anything to compare it to, but like from just my experience, like I have never had a problem gaining muscle. Like all my muscle I gained was obviously like on a vegan diet.
Yeah.
I just make sure to keep my protein high, and they say that it actually keeps the inflammation low in your body. So it's better for your joints. And
recovery times, obviously a lot
recovery
better.
as well, because like also with a vegan diet, a lot of the times, if you're like a health focused vegan, you're eating a lot of micronutrients, like tons and tons of different vegetables, different fruits, which is phenomenal for your body. So that helps with your recovery as well. So like I haven't had an issue with it as well. Like I know a lot of other vegan bodybuilders just from like the online community, and they're doing phenomenal as well. Like one of our friends was stiff leg deadlifting, I think like 400 pounds or something, which for me, I don't know, that's a lot. I don't know what you guys
It's a lot for anyone. It's a lot for anyone.
I was like, damn.
Well, Corey would know deadlift, but Jeff would know.
Yeah, so I haven't had an issue with it at all.
Okay.
But I don't have anything to compare it to, but just from what I've experienced and from everybody else that I've seen, it's not really an issue. If you're fueling your body right, like if you know how to hit your macros and get your protein in and all that stuff.
Right. And it's funny, I asked that because the three of us, and I'm sure many listeners are going, okay, well, hold on, she doesn't live like I lived. So there's no way I could ever be vegan.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to know if you had something to compare it to. So when you flipped, I'll say flipped or switched or became vegan 7 years ago, what was your diet like when you then compared to what you do now? Because I watch your page. They're very detailed, very specific recipes. So is that were you that from day one when you turned vegan, or is that slowly morphed and transitioned to who you are now?
No, definitely not. Even like the food on my page, like that's not what I eat like on a daily basis, because a lot of it's like very high in fat, because like that's what people like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I'm like on a day-to-day basis, I eat like very simply, usually like just like potatoes with tofu, like a nice sauce and like some vegetables or something. But before I went vegan, it's kind of hard to remember because it was so long ago, but I do not think my diet was very good at all. No, like right before I went vegan, I remember eating like a medium Domino's pizza to my face that was a meat lover's pizza like every single day for dinner. I was in university, I got it like every day. Like I wouldn't say like I was super unhealthy, because my mom always raised me to like eat a lot of vegetables, and we cooked at home a lot, so I wasn't really like a huge fast food person or anything like that. But it wasn't like I mean, I think I thought I was health focused, but now knowing what I know now, I don't think I was. And like, I would like binge at times as well and eat like just a whole bunch of crappy food. Right. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Would you say it's affordable to be a vegan? Like, because you know, you're basically eliminating half of the food sources by becoming vegan. and people already are missing the mark with nutrition as is.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're cutting the pool of foods and to a much smaller pool.
Mm-hmm.
Is it affordable to buy all of those foods and still live a healthy and nutritional life, like so that all of your vitamins and minerals are taken care of?
Yeah, like 100%, 100%. First, I'll touch on the affordability side of it. Like, plants are the cheapest food in the world. Like, all of the poorest countries in the world, they eat like beans and potatoes and stuff.
Right.
So if you are doing like a majority whole foods diet, you're not going for the impossible burgers, the expensive cheeses and all that stuff, then it's extremely affordable. I would even argue it's more affordable than eating meat and cheese, because meat is, from what I've heard, it's even getting more and more expensive.
You'd have to eat more volume to meet the caloric needs of your day-to-day.
You would, like, depending on how you're eating, like if you focus like a lot on like potatoes and rice and like pasta as your carbs, like those are very cheap sources.
Right.
But if you want to do like a lot of volume, like tons of veggies and stuff, like then it might get a little pricey, but you can kind of buy in season and
Right.
yeah, it's very affordable. Like, unless you're just eating like processed food all the time, because that stuff can get pretty expensive. And then what was the nutritional value? Yeah. So like, if you think about it, like meats and cheeses, they only offer like a few nutrients. Like there's like protein in there, there's like some fat, saturated fat. I think like maybe like 3 or 4 different types of minerals, and like a little bit of water. Like all of that stuff you can get from plant-based sources. Like it's not really an issue at all.
And then what about complete protein sources?
Yeah, so it's actually a common misconception that plants don't contain all amino acids. They contain all 20 and all 9 essential amino acids, but they contain them in varying amounts. So some will be like lower in some will be higher in some. But the beautiful thing is if you just like combine foods and you eat a
have
variety,
more of the different ones.
Yeah, and a diversity, then they kind of like balance each other out. And as long as you're eating enough protein, you don't have to worry about it. And it's basically impossible to not eat enough protein for like the lay person. Like I think the RDA for like an average lay person who doesn't lift is like 50 grams or like 60, something like that. It's like if you're eating enough calories, you're getting in your protein. Right. So yeah. You can definitely get in all your.
What advice would you give someone that's right on the cusp, that wants to go vegan and not sure if I know you touched on a couple of things there with Jeff, but what would be your piece of advice to that person out there?
The first thing is you have to figure out your why. Like you 100% have to figure out your why, because as we talked about before, like it's so easy to flip flop. It's hard to stay vegan like in this world. So you have to really like dig deep, do research, like learn about what's going on, and then like ask yourself why. Like something I came across recently, which I love, is called the 7 layers of why. So you ask yourself a question like, number 1, why do I want to go vegan? I want to become healthier and fit and love my body. Why do you want to become healthier and fit? Because I want to find a partner to settle down with. Why? Why do you want to do that? Because I want to start a family. You go down these 7 reasons and you almost like, it helps you solidify that reason. So that way you kind of have something to go back to. You know what I mean? So that is the biggest thing. Is
I tell all my clients to find their why, but I like that layered system. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, you can do
like
that with anything,
too.
not just why you're being a vegan, but why anything.
For anything.
Yeah.
I heard that recently. So I love
absolutely.
it.
Okay, and what message would you want to give people at AK, people that you see every day, about their diet, or what your philosophy and mentality is versus what the 3 carnivores are? I know you're laughing before you even finish the question.
I'm just thinking of one thing, because like I see the bodybuilders' diets and it's always just like chicken, rice, and vegetables, and like that's it. And it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like I just want to tell everybody, you have to have a variety. Like even if you're not going to be,
She just wants to stand on top of a rooftop and say variety.
every time I see it, but I haven't had a chance. I'm not going to go up and like, like put my opinions on everybody, but like just from a health standpoint, like even if you don't want to go plant-based, like your gut needs a variety of food and plant foods, right? Like that is what feeds the good bacteria in your gut, is fiber, which is only found in plant food. It's plant exclusive, and a diversity of plants, because that's also feeding the good bacteria in your gut. So everybody at AK, please eat different vegetables.
What are your thoughts on the carnivore diet then?
Oh God!
Literally the polar opposite.
Is it ever,
my God,
right?
that's
a vegan.
That's,
do we have time in this podcast? But no, we do. I'm kidding. No.
For longevity, it's like it's horrible. That's just like a heart attack waiting to happen. But it does. I know I've heard like Jordan Peterson and his daughter and like all these people have like a lot of success on a carnivore diet. And really it's because it's an elimination diet. Like most likely what's happening is like they're having something wrong with their gut or something inside them that's not agreeing with them. And by removing everything, you're removing fiber can be really like abrasive on your digestive system if you have a gut issue. So like by removing all that stuff, you can feel a lot better.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like a long-term thing. It should be like an elimination diet if you're going to do it, and then build it back up and reintroduce new things. Like for longevity's sake, it's not good for you're going to get a heart attack. Like,
I agree.
100%.
Yeah. Liver King.
Yeah. Oh my God, Liver King.
Did your boyfriend switch vegan after you guys got together or before?
Yeah, I think he was.
Did he have a choice?
I mean, I like to think he had a choice. I'm just kidding. He always was like curious in veganism, and I think he went vegan like years before we met, but he's not a very good cook, so it was like really hard for him to stay vegan. So once we started dating, I always loved to cook, so I would just cook him food like all the time. It was during COVID as well, so I was just like cooking like crazy. And after like a few months, he was like, you know,
oh my God,
like,
I haven't eaten meat in like 3 months.
Yeah.
I guess I'm vegan now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then he was like, okay, I can do this. This is really easy now, obviously. But he always wanted to be vegan. He was always like open to learning more, like watching stuff with me. And
So it's like you're exactly what he needed to find.
exactly. He always says he manifested a vegan
Look at
girlfriend.
that. The universe just has crazy ways.
Who can cook?
Yeah.
So transitioning, if someone's going to transition into, is there something they like? Is it a normal transition to go to vegetarian first, and then like dip your toes in the water instead of jumping in, and then go to vegan after that? Like, is there a transition that works for people? Because I'm thinking of people out there watching and listening, going, "Oh, I really want to do this, but I'm not her. Like, I don't have the willpower. I don't have the why yet."
For sure. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Like, first of all, probably the easiest thing is like just look at your diet currently and see where you can swap certain things.
Good
like
advice.
Instead of whey protein, swap it for a soy protein or pea protein.
Yeah.
You know, for your milks, that's an easy swap. The cheeses are an easy swap. Like, especially if you're first transitioning, like I'm not a huge fan of like all the Beyond burgers and all that stuff because they're not like extremely healthy, but it can be very helpful for people who are transitioning to get that same like taste, texture, mouthfeel, all that stuff. So you can first look at your current diet and see how can you swap things. Like, how can I change my current meals, like a lentil or like a beef bolognese pasta, make it with lentils or make it with textured vegetable protein, which is another great protein source. Or you could start by one meal a day. You could see, okay, instead of eggs, I can make a tofu scramble. For my protein oatmeal, I'll just put a vegan protein in it. Like,
It's the exact same thing with us and our clients, right? Like when we're looking at a client who has a terrible diet and just trying to make like easy substitutions to make it a little bit healthier.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the internet as well. I mean, like there's a plethora of vegan recipes out there now. Like it was not like that when I first went vegan.
Yeah. So what I touched on earlier. So you're 7 years. Fast forward a month. So you're vegan. You're 100% there. Your diet then at the beginning of your vegan journey or your lifestyle change versus now, same?
No, God no. I think like the first month, I think I just ate like mushy stir fries and like nasty food. And then I stumbled across, again, like there was not a lot of information out there when I first went vegan. The only YouTuber that I found who talked about diet was this girl called Freely the Banana Girl. And she had a philosophy called Raw Till 4, where you basically just eat like fruit all day. And then you have like, so I would have a 10 banana smoothie every single morning with I think it was 20 dates and like 10 cups of water. It was actually delicious. I hate bananas now. But like, it was so bad. So I'd have like a 10 banana smoothie in the morning, and then I would have a mono fruit meal. So like half a watermelon or like a whole bag of grapes. And then I would have like a whole bunch of baked potatoes and like some lettuce at dinner. Like it was just like horrendous. My digestion was horrible. Like I was farting all the time. Like the amount of fiber was just like
Corey's like, no, my
yeah, and I did that for like I don't even know, like quite a while, and I don't know. I think I realized that was just not a healthy way to do it, and then it's been a journey, like 100%. Like I don't even think I focused on like the high protein aspects until like a year in, like when I started weight training. So. Yeah, it was just figuring out what I liked and then figuring out my macros and stuff.
One question I had was, I've been on your Instagram page, you do a lot of healthy recipes, you have quite the following. How did that all start?
So that was my COVID baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good for you.
Your Instagram profile?
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you started, recording recipes and stuff like that just during COVID?
Yeah,
And just
because-
kind of took off?
Yeah, because like I was laid off from work. I was in school to be a firefighter, laid off from my bartending job, and I was at home like studying, cooking a whole bunch of food. And it was actually my boyfriend Matt who was like, "This is phenomenal! Like all these recipes," because he hadn't really eaten vegan food like that before, and he was like, "You need to share these. Like, what else are you doing? Just like film some videos and post it online." And I did that. And when I started, the TikTok algorithm was like blowing people's accounts up. So TikTok really helped me explode. And then that funneled into Instagram. And then I just kept going and going and going. Like I had so much time. I was living in my parents' house at the time, getting paid by the government. And I just worked like 10 hours a day, just like filming and editing videos.
Good for you.
And now is
That's
that your
awesome.
full time?
Yeah, now it's my full-time job.
That's your full time?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
awesome.
We talked about when the three of us talked last hour about people pivoting and right. And here's a great story for that.
We were talking about how you can literally take anything you want and make a living out of it. And that's this is a perfect example of doing that.
Yeah.
100%. If you put your mind to it and you just like work hard and stay really dedicated, you can really do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you
for
want.
sure.
Yeah.
So what's your Instagram name? You can tell everyone where they can find you.
I am on Instagram and TikTok at that.veganbabe.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. We're going to finish with some rapid fire questions, which you are involved.
All right.
You don't get to go away from that. So I'll start with you. What was your first job?
My first job was working at, it was like a frozen yogurt place in the middle of a mall, like a kiosk. I got fired.
Was it because of the farting?
No, I came into work really burnt out. I was a stoner back in the day. Too, and I couldn't even like scoop ice cream or make coffee. It was bad. And they just like sent me home.
Oh my God, I love that.
Okay,
That's
top that. What was your
hilarious.
first job?
Yeah, I can't top that. My first job was working at a grocery store, no frills.
Nice.
Newspaper.
Yeah,
Newspaper. What was your favorite subject in school?
Science.
phys ed.
Oh, God.
Phys
Get
ed.
me off by that guy's mic.
Oh, cooking class.
Cookie wall.
Yeah,
okay.
we had a great like cooking
like that.
baking class.
Do you collect anything?
Insults for Corey.
Attaboy. Well done. And deliver.
Yeah.
And deliver, yeah.
What about you? Do you collect anything?
Not really. Recently, like every time we
Recipes.
travel, we'll bring home. Oh, jars. Yeah, I love jars. Like any jar that I get, I'll just like rip off the label and like keep it in my pantry.
All right, that's good. If you were a spy, what would your code name be? Let's start with you. And it can't be that vegan babe. You have to pick something else.
If you're a spy, like I would need time to think about that.
I know.
That must be just so
that needs
sexy on
time.
sandwich night. Right?
That
There's
need,
no
that
impulse
need
from you.
time.
Stuffing.
Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
Oh no,
Yes.
no.
How do you usually answer the phone?
It depends
Phone
on who it
calls?
is.
I feel like phone calls. I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Okay.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah. What about you?
I say hello.
I just yell into the phone, talk to me.
Yeah, you
I don't have fucking time for
could
phone calls.
totally see
Just
that.
say what you got to say.
I know, that's why I was confused. I'm like, who gets phone calls
It's because he
anymore?
did it one day walking through a superstore, like a grocery store, like, talk to me. And everyone's like, wow, he must be important.
For real.
That's not a bad idea. I can do that out loud. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. That's good. Very good. Okay. Have you ever walked out of a movie theater mid-movie?
Yep. Black Panther, the second one.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
Oh well, then he's not gonna go see it now.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
Because I think the first Black Panther is one of the best Marvel movies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But now they have to retell the story because the main guy is no longer.
Is past. That's
So,
right. All
Yeah.
right.
I fell
Okay.
asleep twice and was like, fuck this, I'm out.
All right. Last one. What was your last text?
My last text.
Oh, I text my fiance saying, hey, I don't have hot sauce for my food.
What was your last text?
I think it was like to my mom. She had like an idea for a video, and I just responded.
Okay. What about you? What was your last text?
My last text was to Joey saying, "I'm going to let you know when I'm finished up with the podcast today, and I'll meet you at
And
the
then we're
gym."
going for sushi.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And a couple leading questions to our next episode. Is it healthy or is it even advisable to be exercising when you're going through 16 straight weeks of chemotherapy? And we'll talk to Jackie and Andrew in the next episode. Again, remember, like and subscribe. Do it. Do it.
This episode of Kultured Kast is made possible by Paul Sadlin Motors, your local Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac dealer on Bayfield Street in Barrie, and online at paulsadlin.com.
Breaking news! If you like that and you want more of it, go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other stuff.